Hey guys, welcome back to the Back Porch Studios. This is Chris. I'm going to give you my MegaCon report. And for those of you who like conventions, good for you. I mean, if you're a convention goer, you may not like this review, but I'm an honest dude and I like to tell it the way I see it. And I had a good time. Let me just put it to you that way. I had a good time. Went to MegaCon in March and haven't put out a video yet because there's just been a lot on my mind about MegaCon and really what it's become. I've been a bunch of times. Every time seems a little bit different. There seems to be a lot less comic dealers there, and if you're a comic guy like I am, honestly, I had better time going to a local con, honestly. And it was nothing against MegaCon. Like I said, I had a great time. But just some of my observations. Anime, manga, video games, off the charts. Like Pokemon cards, trading cards. That portion of pop culture is off the charts. I mean, it's everywhere at MegaCon. Half the people that were cosplaying, no, more than that. I would say 80% of the people that were cosplaying, I had no idea who they were. None. Which is okay. I mean, that's fine. I ended up asking my friend Greg, who I went to MegaCon with, who's that? And he didn't know half the time either. But most of the cosplayers were anime, video games, a little of everything. And it was, for an older dude like me who's really into superheroes, I was like really lost in a lot of places. Totally okay. Going to people watch is half the fun. So I'll get that right out of the way. That was really cool. Comic dealers, not many. I was expecting to see like some of the real YouTube guys, like Very Gary, I guess, was supposed to be there. Comic Tom. I didn't see any of those guys. I don't know where they were. I don't know if I just missed them or if they were just hanging out at particular dealer tables, but didn't see them, which is okay, but it would have been nice to just say hi. Other thing was prices. Oh my goodness, prices through the roof, man, and so inconsistent. Like, for example, one dealer had an Absolute Batman #1, the A cover, for like $300. Next aisle over, you would go and a guy would have an Absolute Batman #1 for $475. It's no rhyme to reason any of it. Prices were ridiculously high. The other thing too is, and this is a pet peeve, and I'm going to probably anger a bunch of people when I say this, but if you're at a con and you're selling comics, put prices on your wall books. Please, for the love of God, please do this, please. I can't tell you how irritating it is to talk to a dealer and go, hey, can I see that book over there? Have them give it to me, and I'm looking at it and go, okay, well, how much? And then he throws out a price, or she, or whoever it is, and I can't even start to negotiate because the price is so ridiculously high. It'd be nice if you had your price up there, so I could save you time, I could save me time. You're there all 4 days, okay? I'm there for an afternoon. I don't have time for me to go back and forth like this. You do that times like 10 or 12 dealers, you've wasted so much valuable time for the guy that goes to the con, okay? Stop that. The other thing I hate too is, how much is it? Flipping through the phone. Oh, eBay has it at this price. So yeah, that's gonna be the price. Like, no, stop doing that. Stupid, okay? Put your price up there and just be prepared. You're making the con experience terrible for the people who want to collect and buy. Terrible. Be better. If you're a dealer, Comic Tom, Very Gary, all these people, listen to what I am saying. Be better, because we only have a certain amount of time at these cons, and time is money. And I don't have the time to go back and forth with you. I don't. Especially when your prices are ridiculously high to begin with. There's nowhere to negotiate at that point. When you're charging COVID or pre-COVID prices, dumb. Okay, stop that. Okay, whatever you do, stop it. The other thing too is, I'm not a big guy who goes and digs through boxes, right? I don't have time for that. I save that for my local comic shop. Organize your boxes. Please organize your boxes. It's so aggravating. And, and good for you if you have the time to spend, what is it, $25 to park, $60, $70 for the con, and then you're traveling over and you're paying a flight and you've got all this cash to spend that you can waste your entire day digging through a box. I don't have time for that. Give me a thing of Captain America. Give me a thing of Thor. They don't necessarily have to be in order, but just organize better. Listen, people, it's not hard. You will sell more books and you're going to make a lot of people happy. What else can I say about that? Aggravating, just aggravating. There was this one dealer who did everything perfect. Everything perfect. I walked up to his booth, and it was kind of like a half booth. Rack, everything was labeled with prices that you could see from the other side of the aisle. I walked it up to that dude and I said, "You are my hero." And he looked at me and he said, "What are you talking about?" And I explained to him what I'd been dealing with. Guy next to me goes, "Absolutely. Yeah, I'm dealing with the same thing." I didn't buy anything from him. I felt really bad. I wish I could, but he didn't really have anything that I wanted. But one dude in the whole place figured it out, okay? And I hope to God that he did really, really, really well. Let's talk about crowds. They were insane, okay? Absolutely insane. Now, I went on a Saturday, okay? By like 1 o'clock, you could barely move. I really don't know how people got around. I think if I was MegaCon, I would spread it out. Just spread it out. Give people the ability to spread out and give them more time to spend in the booths, because honestly, the booths are so jam-packed. I didn't want to go in them. Honestly, I didn't want to spend the time. It was aggravating. The other thing too is some of these artists, their lines were just ridiculously long. Let's talk about that, okay? The way the place was broken up was bizarre, okay? You walk into the main area, you got shops and everything. On one side was Artist Alley. Cool. On the far side, you had all autographs, things of that nature. And then for whatever reason, they decided to put at the opposite end, like John Cena, Liv Tyler, and there was one more person they said back there, Orlando Bloom. Those three, okay? You had to buy your tickets, at least this is what I heard, where the regular autograph sessions were, and then go completely over to the opposite end of the building to wait in a line. And there were people waiting in the line there and found this out. They waited in the line for however long. I mean, in some cases it was an hour. Realized that they were in the wrong place. Had to go back and start all over again. Terrible. Do not ever do that again. You have to be able to prepare better, MegaCon. Do a better job. This is on you. Do a better job. The other thing, and I feel like I'm really having a bummer of a day, and I'm sorry if I'm bringing you down. Too many variants. I mean, there must have been 800 different variants at this convention. 800, and they were all over the place. You had no idea where to go get them. And how many absolute Batmans, number one? How many Invincible number ones do we need? Like, seriously, I come from the guy that's got like 300 Walking Dead number ones. Like, seems a little hypocritical, but no, seriously, how many do you need at one con? At least on those, there was only like 1 or 2 at every con. Here, there was like 30 of absolute Batman, like 30. So many. I mean, just ridiculous amounts and so overpriced. And I'm going to show you what I picked up as I say all that. But anyway, let's get to the good stuff. This is kind of the stuff that I bought. I bought this. It's a Jock cover. I had met Jock at last year's MegaCon. Super cool dude. Signature's something to be desired, but for the most part, really cool dude. Anyway, I picked this up. A MegaCon exclusive. It's Batman the Killing Joke foil. Oh boy, this is really hard. I'm so sorry about this. Hard to tell, but it is Batman. Let's see if you can see that. Batman the Killing Joke, and it's got the Joker on the cover. I really apologize for that. These foil covers are really hard to see sometimes. Oh, I think we got it there. Maybe. Yep. No. Maybe. Anyway, you get the idea. And this was like $25. Yeah. Then I got a chance to meet David Nakayama. Really cool dude. There was really nobody at his booth when I went to see him. And I was like, hey, what's going on? It's nice to see you. I like some of the covers you've done. And I told him I had a bunch of the covers from Strange Academy. And I picked up a couple of books. I picked up a set and had him sign it. I picked up Star Wars Ahsoka #1, and I had him sign it down the bottom. Can't really see it very well. I wish he had signed it in white or something, but $10 a signature. $10. See if we can, anyway, see it down there, David Nakayama. $10, and I didn't have to wait. Cool dude, like really cool dude. I also picked up this guy, which is the Virgin variant of the same cover, and he signed it for me down the bottom as well, although you can't really see it all that well. Again, wish he'd done it in white. That would have been really cool, since all the lettering on these books were white. It's like, I think I spent $60 between these two and the signatures. Again, not horrible. I mean, you could spend $60 just for a photo, for crying out loud. Then I went in one of the other aisles, and I didn't have this. It's Narco issue #1. It's the Alfred Hitchcock Vertigo variant cover. I talked about variant covers. I know this was actually released in a comic book store. Read this book. I love this book. This is so Hitchcockian that it's nobody's business, and I can see why they're doing Hitchcock covers for this series. A lot of fun. I highly recommend this story. It's a guy who's got narcolepsy who falls asleep or passes out when his heart rate reaches a certain level, and he passes out and something really bad takes place. So I can see kind of where the story's going to go. Really, really cool story. Like that a lot. Then I had the opportunity to meet one of, if not my favorite movie directors of all time, John Carpenter. Hits like Halloween, The Thing, Escape from New York, The Fog, Prince of Darkness, Big Trouble in Little China, just to name a few. I've seen all his films. I loved all his films. I thought it would be really cool to meet John Carpenter, as I'm a huge fan of movies and especially his films. I thought it'd be really cool to get to meet him. So I went over to the ticket place where you buy tickets to meet these celebrities, and they were like, "Yeah, it's $150 to meet John Carpenter." I'm like, "Whoa!" Just to get a picture signed. A picture, $150. I'm like, "Whoa, what are we talking about here? That's a lot of money." And I was gonna say no and walk away, but there was no line, and I'm like, "Here's an opportunity to meet like one of my, film idols. One of those people that I'm like, you know what, your movies have really had a big impact on my life because I loved watching them, and they're goofy and they're silly, and I quote Snake Plissken stuff all the time whenever I see Kurt Russell in a movie. If you watch Monarch on Apple TV, I'm like, hey, Snake Plissken, and I call him Snake even though I don't even know what his character's name is in the show. Lee, I think his name is, but I just like, you can't mess with Snake Plissken. But anyway, yeah, so I got a chance to meet him, and here's how it went. Sitting there, nobody there. So I walk up. Oh, we're sorry, John just stepped out for a minute. I'm like, okay. So in the interim, he's got a couple handlers there, and I'm talking to them. They're like, oh, so what's your favorite movie? And I'm like, and I told them, they were like, it's not The Thing. I'm like, look, I like The Thing, but my dad's favorite movie of all time was the original Thing back in the 50s. And, so I'm kind of, I can't really go against that. It'd be like being, not cool to my dad. So I'm like, yeah, but I love Halloween. I think, Halloween is the most, one of the most perfect horror movies ever made. And Escape from New York. I loved Escape from New York. It just silly and goofy and fun and violent and just goofy with a cool ending. And I've always loved Escape from New York. So I got a photo and sitting there waiting. When finally John Carpenter comes back. And he sits down. He sees it, and he goes, that was it. That was the experience. Now, for me, that was kind of a heartbreaker, honestly. I got to be honest. He didn't say a word. He just signed it, threw it at me, and that was it. And I'm like, oh, it was just like, I can't believe I just spent $150 on that. Like $150. Now you're probably going, Chris, you're a nutbag for doing that anyway. But you know, when you meet these people, you know, especially him, you know, it's just like, yeah, kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. But anyway, I ended up getting like an Escape from New York little mini poster, and he signed it. But really, that's the way it was. It was that. And that was kind of like the whole MegaCon experience for me this year. You know, it was cool. I bought a couple things, got to meet David Nakayama, nicest dude in the world. You know, really $10 autograph compared to the $150 autograph. And I had a better experience meeting David Nakayama than I did John Carpenter. Does it make me not like John Carpenter movies any less? No. Does it kind of spoil the experience a little bit? Yeah, I would say. I wish I'd taken that money and you bought a book or something, but you know, that's just the way it is. Overall, I did have a good time at MegaCon. Didn't stay very long. I think we were out of there by like 2:30. But it was just so crowded, you couldn't really move by the middle of the day. But anyway, that was the MegaCon experience that I had. Sorry for rambling, taking up bunch of your time, but that was the experience. Anyway, my friend Greg kind of felt the same way. He was like, that was a little disappointing, but yeah, it's not going to keep me from going next year. I'll probably go again. Not sure why, but anyway, it is fun. That's about it. Sorry to ramble. Hope you guys do well. Staying safe. See you again next time. Bye.